might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Money.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are engineered to win. This is the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show, where we break down the weekly economic numbers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How is everyone doing on this beautiful Saturday morning? Today is July 13th, 2024. We are cruising through 2024. Who would have thought it would have went so fast? So let me welcome in my friends and family. We have my guy Yakar in the building saying salute. Salute to you as well, Yakar. And we have our good old friend Feisty Ferris getting started early in the morning saying we got EBITDA or some disease sounding term before GTA 6. I don't know what Ferris is talking about. And Ferris says that I'm late. I am late. I said, you know what, Ferris? You must not really be from the Caribbean because, you know, if I was late, I would be like 2 to 3 hours late. You know what I'm saying? So I am just right. I am just on time. And Ferris hit me with the you know what?
How dare you?
How dare you, Ferris? How dare you, Ferris? You know, I'm just saying. Anyways, we are gonna get the show on the road for today. You know, we got about 90 minutes to have some fun. We're gonna be breaking down the Fed Chair Jerome Powell's like his remarks, his meeting stuff. We have the CPI, Consumer Price Index, PPI, Producer Price Index. We have the jobless claims, and then we're going to finish out the show talking about what the heck is EBITDA anyways? What is EBITDA? Why did I want to talk about EBITDA? Because around this time of the year, you know, some people it's early, some people it's later. Companies have their financial reporting type stuff, and one of the things that they track is EBITDA. So I was like, I've been hearing this term for years now, and I'm like, I hear what you're saying. Doesn't make much sense. How can we break it down so it can sound much more easier to understand? So that is what we're going to do today. We're going to be talking about EBITDA as we wrap up the show. So let's not waste any time. Let's get into it. And guess what? LinkedIn this week didn't give me my numbers. So you know what? I had to go find another source. The same way when Stream Elements was not showing up to work, I had to find Nightbot. You know, Nightbot gets a little feisty every now and then. You have to teach Nightbot how to act a little bit, you know, put it in its place. But Nightbot is always consistent, always on time, always showing up. So shout out to Nightbot. All right, so I had to go and get the numbers that we're going to be looking for from Bloomberg. So I have another. What do you call it? I'll just share the screen. Right? Let's just share the screen. What do we have? So we have. Here we go. The economic calendar, right? So this one is pretty much saying it has a bunch of stuff, right? So we want to filter it down, though. Can I find the filter? I did this earlier, so yeah, let's do the filter. Let's filter it off because we don't really need all of this stuff. So let's make sure we're only looking at the United States of America, right? All right, we have the U.S. and we're gonna take employment. I'm gonna take off central banks. I'm gonna leave economic activity, inflation, confidence index, right? So let's leave. Actually, I think that's. Why am I getting everything right? So importance 3, right? So we're gonna apply this, and we get left with the Fed Chair Powell testifies on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we have our We have our consumer price index, and then we have our jobless claims. Then we have our PPI per producer price index. All right. So let's start off with Fed Chair Jerome Powell. Let me go over to this one, and let's see some of the testimony. All right. So Fed Chair Jerome Powell's testimony. Let's see. Let's go with here 7.9. Let's see what this had to say. Semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress. All right. So before the Committee on Banking, Housing, and Urban Affairs, U.S. Senate, Washington, D.C. All right. So let's go into this. I wonder if this one is different than this one. Let's see. Let me check this one too. Let's go here. Oh, that's not the one I wanted. Let's go to here. And make sure, are these the same? Yeah, these are the same things. All right, so let's go and look at this one. And let's click into this. So, all right, so this was July 9th, 2024, semi-annual monetary policy report to Congress. And this was by Chair Jerome Powell. And we're not going to watch it live, but let's see. Chair Powell submitted identical remarks to the Committee on Financial Services, U.S. House of Representatives on July 10th. All right, so he said the same thing. Chairman Brown, Ranking Member Scott, and other members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present the Federal Reserve semi-annual monetary policy. Let me see. How long is this actually? Let's see how long this is. Oh, it's not live anymore, but let me see what we can do here. What's this? All right, well, let's read it then. Let's read it. I could see the video, but I don't know. So anyways, all right. So Chairman Brown, Ranking Member Scott, and other members of the committee, I appreciate the opportunity to present the Federal Reserve's semi-annual monetary policy report. The Federal Reserve remains squarely focused on our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the benefit of the American people. Over the past 2 years, the economy has made considerable progress toward the Federal Reserve's 2% inflation goal. The labor market conditions have cooled while remaining strong. Reflecting these developments, the risks to achieving our employment and inflation goals are coming into better balance. I will review the current economic situation before turning to monetary policy. So, the current economic situation and outlook, right? Recent indicators suggest that the U.S. economy continues to expand at a solid pace. Gross domestic product, GDP, we went over that last week, appears to have moderated in the first half of this year following impressive strength in the second half of last year. Private domestic demand remain robust, however, with slower but still solid increases in consumer spending. We have also seen moderate growth in capital spending and a pickup in residential investments so far this year. Improving supply conditions have supported resilient demand and the strong performance of the U.S. economy over the past year. In the labor market, a broad set of indicators suggests that conditions have returned to about where they stood on the eve of the pandemic, strong, but not overheated. The unemployment rate has moved higher, but was still at a low level of 4.1% in June. Payroll jobs averaged 222,000 jobs per month in the first half of the year. Strong job creation over the past couple of years have been accompanied by an increase of the supply of workers, reflecting increase in labor participation among individuals aged 25 to 54 and a strong pace of immigration. As a result, the jobs to workers gap is well down from its peak and now stands just a bit above its 2019 levels. Nominal wage growth has eased over the past year. The strong labor market has helped narrow long-standing disparities in employment and earnings across demographic groups. Inflation has eased notably over the past couple of years, but remained above the committee's long-run goal of 2%. Total personal consumption expenditures, PCE, we go over that as well. Prices rose 2.6% over the 12 months ending in May. Core PCE prices, which exclude the volatile food and energy categories, also increased 2.6%. After a lack of progress towards our 2% inflation objective in the early part of this year, the most recent monthly readings have shown modest further progress. Longer-term inflation expectations appear to remain well anchored as reflected in a broad range of surveys of households, businesses, and forecasters, as well as measures from financial markets. So let's get into the monetary policy. Our monetary policy actions are guided by our dual mandate to promote maximum employment and stable prices for the American people. Thank you so much. In support of these goals, the committee has maintained the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5% since last July, after having tightened the stance on monetary policy significantly over the previous years and a half. The previous year and a half, right? So let me read that one more time, right? In support of these goals, the committee has maintained the target range for the federal funds rate at 5.25% to 5.5% since last July, after having tightened the stance of monetary policy significantly over the previous year and a half. We have also continued to reduce our securities holding. At our May meeting, we decided to slow the pace of our balance sheet runoff starting in June, consistent with the plans released previously. Our restrictive monetary policy stance is helping to bring demand and supply conditions into better balance and to put downward pressure on inflation. The committee has stated that we do not expect it will be appropriate to reduce the target range for the federal funds rate until we have gained greater confidence that inflation is moving sustainably towards 2%. Incoming data for the first quarter of this year did not support such greater confidence. The most recent inflation readings, however, have shown some modest further progress, and more good data would strengthen our confidence that inflation is moving sustainably toward 2%. Right? So nothing yet, but it looks like, but they're saying, Fed chair is saying it's looking better. I sound like I'm underwater. What? All right, I'll check that in a second, Mitch. Let's see. Let's see here. Mitch always coming in, throwing me off. All right. So we continue to make decisions meeting by meeting. We know that reducing policy restraints too soon too soon or too much could stall or even reverse the progress we have seen on inflation. At the same time, in light of progress we've made in lowering inflation and in cooling the labor market over the past 2 years, elevated inflation is not the only risk we face. Reducing policy restraints too late or too little could unduly weaken our economic activity and employment. In considering adjustments to the target range of the federal funds rate, the committee will continue its practice to carefully assessing incoming data and their implications for evolving outlook, the balance of risk, and the appropriate path of monetary policy. So what I'm hearing is that nothing is going to change. You know how they start to hit you with the good news and they're like, but actually, it's like what I'm reading right now, right? It's like how when you see, let me check this thing real quick. Let me fix this. Oh, shit. Wait a second. Should be good. I don't know. All right. So what I'm hearing is if you ever see those law shows, right? Whoever the judge starts talking to first is usually who's going to lose, right? Because they'll be saying like, wow, I understand your motion and in the defense and da 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 da. However, once they hit you that, however, that's what I'm like, things are looking so good. However, there's all these other reasons that we're going to keep inflation exactly where it's at. So Congress has entrusted the Federal Reserve with the operational independence that is needed to take a longer-term perspective in the pursuit of our dual mandate of maximum employment and stable prices. We remain committed to bringing inflation back down to our 2% goal and to keeping longer-term inflation expectations well anchored. Restoring price stability is essential to achieving maximum employment and stable prices over the long run. Our success in delivering on these goals matter to all Americans. Let me conclude by emphasizing that we understand that our actions affect communities, families, and businesses across the country. Everything we do is in the service to our public mission. Thank you. I'm happy to take your questions. All right. Let's see what. All right, let me check this thing that Mitch is talking about real quick. What is going on? Let's see what's going on with the sound. All right, let me see. Where's my phone? I don't even have my phone on me. All right, give me a second. Let me go and check this out on YouTube, see what's going on. Let me see. Go and check this out on YouTube, see what's going on. Balance sheet runoff starting in June, consistent with the adjustments to the market, where our success in delivering what Ferris is talking about. And Ferris says that I'm late. I am late. I said Nightbot price index, right? So represents on July 10th, 5.25% to 5.5% since last July, after having tightened the stance on monetary policy. All right. I figured it out, Mitch. I figured it out. I was using the wrong mic. Should sound a lot better now. Let me know. It should sound a lot. It was on the wrong. It was using the laptop mic and not the this mic. So thanks. See, shout out to Mitch. Shout out to Mitch. I have an ear to sound like I have an insight for data. All right, let's get through the chat. So after we read Fed Chair Jerome Powell's remarks, let's see what we got. I know your car has a lot of thoughts on this. Let's see. So your car says Powell is just playing coy. They're not promoting stabilization. They are promoting more profit through interest. And your car says manipulation. The jobs are paying less and do not make up for the quality of jobs that were lost. People are making less today than they made before the pandemic. Your car with the fire here, you know, your car's out for blood early on this Saturday morning at 6:42 a.m. in California, out for blood. And your car also says maintained, no percent points drop. Sorry, not sorry. We got my guy in the building, Junior. What's going on? What's up, family? How are you doing this amazing Saturday morning? And your car says, we do not expect. We want to keep making record-breaking profits. I want to make record-breaking profits as well, your car. I mean, can we really fault them for wanting to make a record-break? Because don't you want to make record-breaking profits? I want to make record-breaking. Mitch wants to make, you know, so, hey, smoke them if you got them, right? Smoke them if you got them, all right? And we got, it says, okay, so I didn't even see that. It sounds like you are talking through your Shure mic. Sounds like your laptop mic. Thank you, your car. I didn't. All right, perfect. And I have an ear for sound, like I have insight for data. That's what I'm talking about. I'm just everybody scared of Ralph but me. All right, I got you.
Best.
All right. And your car's like, I figured. Yeah, you sure did. You got it 100% right. Cool, perfect. The software that the mic is routing through just got an upgrade, so it probably changed or something like that. I don't know, but we're good. We are good now. All right. So thank you for calling that out, Mitch. I appreciate it. Okay, so let's continue with our next source of data for today. We're going to be looking into the next thing we have up. And you know what? I really like the where is that? Let me get that out. I really like the Bloomberg's calendar because we're able to filter like by the most important stuff. And then let me share the screen. Let me see if I can zoom in on this page too. There we go. Yeah, that's probably good right there. So seeing that so being able to filter, because let's say if we filter this to like, what else do we get on this one, right? So we get like crude oil, gold speculative, NASDAQ, all this type of stuff. Treasury Secretary Yellen speaks, but so you can like kind of pick your data, but let's go with the most important. Let's stick with that, with what we're going to talk about today. And let's go to, next up, we have CPI. So what is CPI? Consumer Price Index. So guess what? Guess what we're going to use? We're going to use our Urban Dictionary of Economic Data, right? So what is the Consumer Price Index? Let me see. If I go to 200, is that going to be too big? Yes, a little too big. All right, so Consumer Price Index. The Consumer Price Index is like a report card for everyday things you buy, like groceries, gas, clothes, and even rent. The rent is too damn high, all right? So imagine you make a shopping list of all the stuff you need. The CPI keeps track of how much that list costs over time. Here's how it works. So here's how it works. Shopping basket. Think of it as a big basket filled with all the stuff people buy. Usually buy, right? Price check. The government checks the price of these items regularly. Let me close this out. Compare prices. They compare today's prices with the prices from the past to see if things are getting more expensive or cheaper. So if the CPI goes up, it means prices are rising and your money doesn't stretch as far. If the price goes down, things are getting cheaper. So why should we care about this? Why the hell does this matter, right? Well, it affects how much money you need to live and how much you can save. It also influences things like wages, pensions, and even the economy overall. Basically, the Consumer Price Index is a way to measure the cost of living and how it changes over time, all right? So pretty much CPI, how much do things cost us versus how much it used to cost. And now when you compare that to how much we're actually making and how much things are costing, we might actually be making less, because if things cost a lot more, if let's say, for instance, right, let's say Ferris's expenses for a month were like $1,000. And let's say that was 2 years ago. And now his expenses are $2,000 in the same exact conditions that he was before. And let's say Ferris was making like $75,000, right? And he gets a raise to like $85,000, but his living expenses, so he gets a raise for $10,000, but in the 2 years his expenses go up by $24,000 because they go up by $12,000 because if it was $1,000 a month, it was $12,000. So it goes up. So his expenses actually rose more than his pay, right? So it's kind of like he's taking a loss, and nothing changed. Nothing changed. It's the same exact conditions, the same place he's living in. He's buying the same food, but they just got more expensive. So his consumer price index kind of like sucks, right? So let's jump into CPI. CPI, all right? So let's do a quick overview. Well, not an overview, but let's see where we're at. So the core CPI, it was forecasted as 0.2%, and it was actually 0.1%. So let's jump into the CPI. All right. So we have, where is it? All right. So Consumer Price Index measures the average change over time in prices paid by urban consumers for a market basket of consumer goods and services. Indexes are available for the US and various geographic areas. Average price data for select utility, automotive fuel, and food items are also available, right? So let's see. Let's go to CPI for all items fall 0.1% in June. Gasoline is down. All right. So let's see. In June, the Consumer Price Index for all urban fell 0.1%, seasonally adjusted, and rose 3% over the last 12 months, not seasonally adjusted. The index, and seasonally adjusted means that they because of their certain times of the year, let's say like around Christmas or around summer, prices can change. So they take that into account so that they do not have to, so that it can be more accurate. So let's take a look at the HML. All right. So this was released on Thursday, July 11th, 2024, 8:30 a.m. So consumer price index for June 2024. All right, so this news release was reissued on July 11th. So it was probably issued on July 10th, but they reissued it. BLS inadvertently published an index value and related 1 month and 12-month percentage changes for inpatient hospital services for June 2024 that did not meet publication criteria. These data has been removed from tables 2, 6, and 7 of the news release. The data was not published in the database. All right, so the consumer price index for all urban consumers, CPIU, declined 0.1% on a seasonally adjusted basis after being unchanged in May. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, all items index increased 3% before seasonal adjustment. The index for gasoline fell 3.8% in June after declining 3.6% in May, more than offsetting an increase in shelter. The energy index fell 2% over the month, as it did the preceding month. The index for food increased. Food got more. So it sounds like food got more expensive. Gasoline got cheaper, and you can kind of see that at the gas station that the gas is getting a little cheaper. And surprisingly, my electricity bill was a little less this month as well. But we'll see about that when this month comes around or the next bill comes around, right? Let's see. So. But food is still on the way up, right? So the food away from home index rose 4% over the month, while the food at home index increased 0.1%. So buying food to cook at home is increasing smaller, but buying food outside of home is getting more expensive, maybe because the minimum wage laws keep skyrocketing. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.1% in June. So it looks like it's energy that made that 0.1% drop, but everything else is rising up, all those 0.1%, but it's still rising, right? After rising 0.2% the preceding month. Indexes which increased in June include shelter. So the cost of rent got more expensive, and probably homes, mortgages, whatever. Motor vehicle insurance. Oh my God. So the reason I said, oh my God, is because I just got my renewal for my insurance yesterday for my car insurance. And I have to find out exactly how much it is because I try to pay it off like in 6 months, or I pay off the whole 6 months. So I have to find out how much it is because I'm seeing this now. I'm dreading it. All right. Household furnishings and operations, medical care, and personal care. The indexes for airline fares, used cars, and trucks and communications were among those that decreased over the month. All right. So used cars and trucks are going down, the prices. The all items index rose 3% for the 12 months ending in June, a smaller increase than the 3.3% increase for the 12 months ending in May. For the year over year ending in May, the all items less food and energy index rose 3.3% over the last 12 months and was the smallest 12-month increase in that index since April of 2021. The energy index increased 1% for the 12 months ending in June. The food index increased 2.2% over the last year. All right. So these are the changes that were happening. So food in general it went up by 0.2% in December, 0.4%. It got more expensive in January. January 1st is when all the laws start to go into place in a lot of places. February unchanged, March unchanged, April unchanged, or March is 0.1, April unchanged, 0.1 in May, 0.2 in June, 2.2 overall. Food, let's just jump to food. So food at home. So look at this, right? Food at home prices went down in April, but food away from home went up in April. Food away by 0.2, went down by 0.2, went up by 0.3. But that was around the time that, at least in California, those $25 minimum minimum wage laws went into effect. So that's interesting. Let's see. So gas has been going down. December it went down. January went down. Went up in February. Went up, and then it went up a lot in February. Went up a little bit in March, or not a little, but it went up less in March. It went back up in April. Then it went down in May. So I think they were saying that these two right here wipe out all these that were going up. Let's see. So fuel oil. Let's see. Anything else? New cars. The price of new cars are going down, actually. That's interesting. Used cars, they've been going down for the most part. Clothing, kind of up, kind of down. Let's see. So yeah, we don't have to read, we saw this through the graph. We don't have to read each one of these. Let's see. The index for fruit and vegetables fell by 0.5% in June. Cereals and bakery products decreased by 0.1%. So fruits, and it's usually around the summertime that I see fruit prices are going down. So, had a lot of watermelon over the past couple of months. Shout out to the watermelons. The green ones, Mitch, not the yellow ones. I'm just saying. Let's see. Bakery products. All right. The food away from home rose 0.4%. The index for full service meals rose 0.6%, and the index for limited service meals rose 0.2%. So full dining experiences versus fast food. The food at home index rose 0.1% over the last 12 months. Index for meats, poultry, fish, and eggs rose 2.6%. You guys remember where eggs were like $8 a carton? I was like, what in the world? Not happening. All right, let's see. Anything else worth highlighting in here? Let's see. Motor vehicle insurance index rose 0.9% in June, following a 0.1% decrease in May. I should have got renewed in May, right? Hopefully in April it goes down. I don't know. The index for household furnishings and operations increased 0.5%. Let's see. Airline tickets fell. Index for airline fares fell 5% in June. Are they not flying people out anymore? I'm just saying, maybe there's too many AI baddies that they don't need to fly out. The IG is that what's going on? Is that what's going on? Your car. There are so many AI baddies that the IG baddies don't need to be flown out anymore. They don't have to be flew out anymore, right? Maybe that's what's going on, right? So, following a 3.6, so it fell 5% in June, and it also fell 3.6% in May. The airline industry seems like they're down bad, right? Over the month, the used car and trucks index fell 1.5%. All right, let's see anything else. Not seasonally adjusted. Consumer price index for all urban increased 3%. The consumer price index for urban wage earners and clerical workers increased 2.9%. So it got more expensive so overall, it got more expensive overall, for outside of food and stuff like that. Let's see. I think that's it. I think we're good. So that is it for that part for our CPI. Shout out to our CPI. Let's see what the chat has to say about the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Let's go to... So Mitch says that the Intuit CEO is lying on the employees, kind of like the Volkswagen employee CEO blamed it on the software engineers. I don't know why the software engineers did that. They just put some buggy code in there, And says you're talking about when he said he didn't cut 1,000 jobs to reduce prices. Let's see. He said the layoff was due to underperforming employees. And now those people that got laid off might be harder to get a job. That does suck. Let's see. I bet he hired McKinsey consultants. I don't know who McKinsey consultants are, so I'm not gonna. They allegedly hired them. I'm not gonna. I don't know who they are. They don't care about the people. They care about the bottom line. At the end of the day, it's all about the bottom line. And Mitch says, and paying those consultants more or Deloitte. All right. The thoughts expressed in the chat are solely the thoughts of Yakar and Mitch. I'm just highlighting their conversation, and since I know that's why I am the voice of the people. Shout out to Mitch, the voice of the people.
They ain't believing us.
And hence, he is super duper man.
Are you ready?
And your car says, surprise, surprise, the CPI went down. And which is car insurance definitely went up. It is sick. And your car says, funny how as we approach the election, the numbers are trying to go down. They are manipulating these numbers like crazy for President Biden. All right. And your car says, some eggs are still at $11 and $9 because of price gouging. I just, I just wouldn't buy them at the end of the day, you know? Let's see. And it says exactly what I said a few weeks ago. This is all manipulation to make it seem like your Mr. Mumbles is doing something. Who is Mr. Mumbles? Who is Mr. Mumbles? I haven't heard of Mr. Mumbles before. I don't know.
Am I Mr. Mumbles? Is that what you're saying? Are you calling him Mr. Mumbles, Mitch?
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about, Mitch. All right. And your car says the car market is crashing. That's why prices are going down. Too much inventory, not enough buyers, and banks are lending out money. Let's see. All right. And Mitch says, they said Delta didn't make as much as they usually do because people are flying to Paris and using cheaper airlines for the Olympics. And your says, President Corpse need all the help that he can get. And Mitch says, honestly, it might be easier to get a car because they need them sold. And it says, Delta may have gotten rid of the old Boeings and they are about to upgrade due to all the media pressure. I mean, like, who wants a door flying off of the plane, you know? And it says, Boeing assassins are watching the chat right now. Oh my goodness. Where are they? Where are they? You know what? Don't threaten me with a good time.
Bruh.
And it says, they made some big lounge in New York JFK Airport for luxury. Hey, you know? And your car says, McKinsey is the consulting company that comes in and says, we can increase your bottom line by firing your employees. I mean, I guess the bottom line does get you know, increased that way, right? If I don't have to pay you, I guess I make more money, you know? And Mitch says, you know what? Mitch said, all of them, me and your car, not scared. We ready.
Let's get it.
And your car says, the Sky Lounge in LAX is crazy. That's what I heard. I've never been into a Sky Lounge. And it says, what's wrong with your boy? What are you talking about? It says, millennials live in fear. Millennials live in fear? Wait, are we millennials? Do we live in... I think I'm a millennial. Aren't you a millennial in your car? And your car says, lending is the issue. High interest rates are keeping them from being sold. No one can justify a $100,000 car loan right now. Can anybody justify a $100,000 car loan? Who gets a loan? I mean, unless you're... The only way I can see somebody getting a $100,000 car loan is that they have it liquid available, but they don't want to pull it out of their stocks or something like that. So they're going to get the loan, but they're going to pay it off really quick. But like, I don't like all right, let's put it like this. If you live in an efficiency, you should not be getting a $100,000 car loan. Just saying. And Mitch says, nobody needs a $100,000 car. I mean, that's debatable. That is debatable. I mean, you know, that's debatable, Mitch, that nobody needs a $100,000 car. And it says 25K to 40K should be okay. Speak for yourself. Speak for yourself, Mitch. And you know what? You get one of these.
How dare you?
Anyways, we're going to move on because Mitch is talking reckless in the chat. All right. So let's see. Where are we at now? So we are at the initial jobless claims. What is the initial jobless claim? So let's find that out together. Not that one. So pretty much the initial jobless claims are the amount of people who are asking, who for the first time they're reporting that they don't have a job and they're asking for help from the government. Like unemployment claims and stuff like that, right? So let's do a quick look over here. Let me close this down. How do I close this? So initial jobless claims. The forecast was for 236. We got 222. So that's kind of better, The previous was 239. But remember, it'll probably be revised next week. And it'll probably be 240,000, So let's see what we got here. Is that what I wanted? So yeah, we can look it over here first and then we'll go through the article. So the previous week was 239K. Actual this week is 222K. So that's 222,000 people who are reporting unemployment for the first time, asking for some help, right? Let's see. So if we look at over here, June 13th was 242, June 20th was 238, June 27th was 233. So on June 13th, we went above the forecast of 225. On June 20th, we went above the forecast of 235 by about 3,000. And then we were under the forecast by about 3,000. Went above the forecast on July 3rd by about 4,000. And then we are way under the forecast over here. So, and we'll find out next week. The forecast for next week is 229. We'll find out exactly what it is. Let's jump into this real quick, right? We're going to take a quick look at this. Not going to spend too much time on it. Let's see. So week ending July 6th, the advanced figures for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 222,000, a decrease of 17,000 from the previous week's revised levels. The previous week's level was revised up by 1,000 from 238 to 239. See what I mean? So next week, it's probably going to be revised as well. Up, usually it's up, not down. The 4-week moving average was 233,500, a decrease of 5,250 from the previous week's revised average. The previous week's average was revised up by 250 from 238,000 to 500 to 238,750. So let's take a look at our chart real quick. So we are at July and it is around, it said like 233,000. Is that what it was? 222,000. And if we look at seasonally adjusted insured unemployment, so it's about 1 point something percent over here, 1.9-ish percent, or 1.8 something percent, I guess. Let's see. Under the data, the initial claims under state programs was 241,000, an increase of 1,666. Let's see here. Looking for the things that stand out. So we like to read this one. All right. So initial claims for UI benefits filed by former federal civilians totaled 370 in the week ending June 29th, an increase of 35 from the prior week. There were 423 initial claims filed by newly discharged veterans, an increase of 41 from the preceding week. So those are going up. There was 4,395 continued weeks claimed filed by former federal civilians employees the week ending June 22nd, a decrease of 131 from the previous week. Newly discharged veterans claiming benefits totaled 4,515, an increase of 46 from the prior week. All right. So the highest insured unemployment rates in the week ending of June 22nd Why are we looking at June? Isn't this July data? Yeah, I don't know why I'm talking about June. Anyways, let's see. Let's see. Ending June 22nd, where New Jersey. New Jersey. What's up with y'all in New Jersey? Why do you how do you always make the first of the list? The first of the list, Mitch. 2.4 was 2.4. California 2.2. Minnesota 2.1. Puerto Rico 2.1. Rhode Island 2. Connecticut 1.8. Pennsylvania 1.8. Illinois 1.7. Massachusetts 1.7. And Washington 1.7. The largest increase in initial claims for the week ending of June 29th were New York City with 4,427. New Jersey 2,557. Georgia 1,849. California 1,478. Iowa 1,270, while the largest decreases were in Connecticut, Wisconsin, Minnesota, Maryland, and Vermont. All right, so that is our initial jobless claims for the week ending of July 13th, 2024. So awesome. Let's go back to full screen and we'll check the chat and then we will get into our producer price index, and then we're going to wrap it up with EBITDA. What in the world is EBITDA? All right. By the way, this, like all my chairs, like this chair and the other chair that I have over here, the gas thing that makes the chair stay up, they all keep going down. So I was about to order, I did order another chair because I'm doing some modifications to the office, but I was able to find these little chair risers, and so instead of changing the gas, I was able to find these things that or not changing the gas, but the thing that has the gas in there to actually make the chair lock and stay up so it doesn't have to keep going down. You know, it's so annoying. Like I was like, why does this thing keep deflating, you know? Anyways, I digress. Let me get into the chat, see what we got going on. Let's see here. Let's see here. Angie Carter says, I meant millennials don't live in fear. My bad. Gen Z lives in fear. Okay. I was like, what are we afraid of? What are we afraid of? I mean, I'm terrified of snakes. I'll tell you that. But other than that, what are we afraid of, you know? And which is unless you use it as your house to drive around. Oh, that is a very interesting point. I mean, we did see the other day, some people are living in their Tesla. And these are software engineers living in their Teslas, you know? So, and Mrs. Reckless, probably, says, just Uber everywhere. Why even bother with insurance and car loans? And it says, aren't we talking about people can't afford cars? What am I missing? I was just saying that when you say nobody needs a $100,000 car, I disagree with the nobody part, you know? I mean, when you say need, maybe no one needs it, but you know what I mean? You know what I mean, right? He meant reckless because you good at exactly. See, your car gets me. Your car gets me. Okay. Thank you, your car. Thank you.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Mitch. All right. And it says, okay, he tried to be Mitch with the double meaning. Double entendre spitting. All right. And it says so Mitch versus Tech Coach Ralph freestyle battle ain't gonna happen because I can't freestyle for the life of me. I could barely talk. What are you talking about, right? Let's see. It says he don't want that smoke. He doesn't want it with these Tyson hands. Nope. Protect your neck, though. Protect your neck, though. I'm just saying. And it says, New Jersey is no joke. People think if you live in New Jersey, you're rich because cost of living. Also, New Jersey is one of the states with the most celebs. I didn't know that. I did not know that. But New Jersey is insane. That boy leaning again. Let me see his shoulder lean. All right. So Next up, we got the producer price index, and then we're going to be getting into EBITDA. All right. So let's jump in. Where do I have my data for the producer price index? Let me find that. Let's see. PPI. Look at that. Just like that. All right. So let's jump into here, and we're going to go back to our Bloomberg and PPI. So PPI rose 2% or 0.2%, and it was forecasted at 0.1%. So your car, Mitch, is PPI, all right, are these numbers, if they go up, is that good or bad? So this one was forecasted, all right, so it was forecast. So first of all right, let's find out again. Because if the consumer price index, let's chat GPT here real quick. Give me a second. Give me a second here. Always get confused about it, right? If the consumer price index goes up, is that good or bad? So it says the impact of an increase in consumer price index can be viewed from different perspectives, and whether it's considered good or bad depends on the context and individual circumstances. Here's a breakdown. So the positive aspects of it going up: economic growth. A moderate increase in CPI or PPI can indicate healthy economic growth with rising demands for goods and services. Higher wages. In some cases, an increase in CPI can lead to higher wages as companies adjust salaries to keep up with inflation. Investment returns. Certain investments like real estate or stocks may appreciate in value during periods of rising CPI, benefiting investors. The negative aspects is the increased cost of living, interest rates, savings erosions. Inflation can erode the value of money, particularly if interest rates on saving accounts are lower than the inflation. Let's see, overall impact for consumers. Generally, an increasing CPI is bad news as it indicates higher costs for everyday items, reducing disposable income and savings value. For businesses, it can be mixed. While they may face higher input costs, they might also benefit from increased consumer spending in the short term. For investors, it depends on the type of investment. Some may benefit while others may see reduced real returns. All right, so and let me see, what about for the producer? So for the producer price index, which we're going to get into, if the producer price index goes up, higher PPI indicates that producers can charge more for their goods, potentially leading to increased revenues and profitability. The economic indicator, rising PPI can signal a strong economy where demand for goods is high, leading to an increased production and sales. Investment growth for investors, rising PPI can indicate a favorable environment for investing in certain sectors, particularly those benefiting from higher prices. The negative aspects is higher production costs. An increase in PPI also often reflects higher input costs for producers, such as raw materials, labor, and energy. Inflation pressure, rising PPI can contribute to consumer inflation, as measured by CPI, if producers pass on higher costs to consumers, leading to increased cost of living. Interest rates. Persistent increases in PPI might prompt central banks to raise interest rates to control inflation, which can increase borrowing costs for businesses. So the overall impact is a rising PPI can be both good and bad, can lead to higher revenues and profits if demand remains strong and costs can be managed. However, if input costs rise faster than selling prices, profits margins can be squeezed. Right? All right. So for consumers, if producers pass on the higher costs to consumers, it can lead to higher prices for goods and services, contributing to inflation and increased cost of living. All right. So it can be good or bad. I see what you mean. Thank you, Mitch. And Mitch said it should be lower, but in the same aspect that it should be lower, it's like interest rates going up. Is it good or bad? Depends on who are you asking. Thank you, Mitch. All right, and so with that being said, we are going to go over to our PPI information, and let's do it.
Let's get it.
All right, so producer price index. And all right, so the producer price index for final demand advanced 0.2% in June, seasonally adjusted. The U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. This was on Friday, June 12th, 2024. Let's see. On an unadjusted basis, the index for final demand rose 2.6% for the 12-month ended in June, the largest advance since moving up 2.7% for the 12 months ended March 2023. So that means that if it went up by 0.2%, that means it got more expensive to produce for like the cost of the raw material, the goods and stuff like that, right? Let's see. Prices for final demand, less food, energy, and trade services were unchanged in June following a 0.2% advance in May. For the 12 months ended in June, the index for final demand, less food, energy, and trade moved up 3.1%. All right. Let's see. Final demand of services, prices for final demand of services rose 0.6% in June after moving up 0.3% in May. What's final demand again? If I remember correctly, final demand, which I'm going to add that to our dictionary, but if I remember correctly, final demand is like the final product. If I remember, let me confirm. So the producer price index for final demand measures the average change in prices that domestic producers receive for goods, services, and construction sold to final demand. Final demand buyers include consumers, the government, foreigners, and domestic industries that purchase the commodity as a capital investment. So it's like, yeah, the final thing, not like all the parts that make it up, but the product that you're going to be buying off the shelf for the most part. Let's see. Or not that you can, it's the product you'll be buying off the shelf that the let's say Walmart buying it from Kellogg's or whoever, whatever the parent company is, right? Let's see. Product detail. Over 1/4 of June, advance in price for final demand service can be traced to a 3.7% rise in margins for machinery and vehicle wholesaling. The index is for automobiles and automobile parts retailing, deposit services, fuels and lubricants retailing, computer hardware and software, supplies retail. The professional and commercial equipment wholesales also moved higher. In contrast, prices for truck transportation of freight declined 1.2%. The index for residential real estate loans, partial, and for machinery and equipment parts and supplies wholesaling also decreased. Final demand goods. The price for final demand goods moved down 0.5% in June after falling 0.8% in May. Most of the June decrease is attributable to a 2.6% drop in the index for final demand energy. So energy costs were cheaper, so it made the final demand cheaper as well. Prices for final demand food declined 0.3%, while the index for final demand goods, less food and energy was unchanged. So even though it might be cheaper, like food might be cheaper, but if the food is being sent to like restaurants and stuff like that to be made, the labor cost is more expensive. So, you know, I could see how food away from home is costing more while the final demand for like certain foods and stuff is going down. So that's interesting to see, putting the two together. Let's see. All right. Let's see anything else. Intermediate demand. Let me see what intermediate demand was. Again, to get a refresher, I'll add that to our economic dictionary as well. So intermediate demand tracks prices for goods, services, and construction products sold to businesses for production, excluding capital investment. The system has two ways of organizing intermediate demand commodities: by type or into production stages. The goal of the production stage organization is to develop a model of production and price change that flows forward. All right. Cool. So intermediate demand by commodity. Within intermediate demand in June, prices for processed goods fell 0.2%. The index for unprocessed goods advanced 1.4%, and prices for services rose 0.2%. All right. Let's see. Anything else that stands out over here? unprocessed goods for intermediate demand. The index for processed goods for intermediate demand fell 0.2% in June after moving down 1.4% in May. Most of the June decrease can be attributed to 1.1% decline in prices for processed energy goods. Let's see. Unprocessed goods for intermediate demand. The index for unprocessed goods for intermediate demand rose 1.4% in June, the third consecutive advance. The June increase can be traced to the price for unprocessed energy goods, which moved up 4.7%. Conversely, the index for the unprocessed foodstuff and feedstuff and for unprocessed non-food material, less energy decreased 0.3% and 0.4% respectively. For the 12 months ended in June, prices for unprocessed goods for intermediate demand moved up 2.7%, the first increase since rising 2.8% for the 12 months ended in January of 2023. All right. Product detail, leading the June advance in index for unprocessed goods for intermediate demand. Natural gas jumped 36.3%. The index for raw milk, ungraded chicken eggs, slaughtered chickens, aluminum-based scrap, and slaughter sow also rose. In contrast, prices for slaughter barrel and gilts fell 16%. The index for non-ferrous metals, ores, and for crude petroleum also declined. All right. Services for intermediate demand. Let's see. Increased 0.2% in June, the fourth consecutive rise. So services getting more expensive. Prices leading the June advance, prices for services less trade, transportation, and warehouse for intermediate demand moved up 0.3%. Let's see, anything else? Oh my God, shut up. Shout out to that one dislike I just got. We are out here winning. I love it, love it, love it. Let's see. I think we're good on the producer price index. Unless there's anything that you guys want me to go over, but shout out to that dislike. I love it. All right. So next up, we're going to be talking about EBITDA, but let's check the chat before we get into EBITDA. All right. So and we got about like 25 minutes to go. So we're good. We are good on time. I have a awesome EBITDA breakdown because I had to figure that out on my own. So let's see. Where are we at? So yeah, I mentioned it should be lower. It depends on who you're asking. And your car says final good equals packaged product. That's what I thought. And it says no prices. And it says not the raw material used to make the products. Yup, got that. Cool. So it says you got another dislike. It's awesome. It is awesome. But do me a favor, even if you're gonna dislike, dislike the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video. It's all good. It is all. I welcome you either way. And maybe if you go over to techcoachralph.dev, sign up for the Patreon, you get access to amazing content, one-on-one coaching. You can see that you can turn that thumbs down into a thumbs up. All right. So. But thank you. I appreciate you watching, though. You know what? You get one of these.
I appreciate you.
Just saying. I'm just saying. All right. So let's jump into our EBITDA conversation to figure out what is EBITDA, why is it important, or is it really important? All right. So, and there's, you know what? Give me a. See if I can find this. Let me see if I can find this. Yeah, this is going to work. Okay. Let's see if that's going to work. Oh, not that. Uh-oh. Shoot. I don't have my phone on me. Give me a second. All right, cool. So let me see if this is going to work. Give me a second. Make sure this is going to work because I have some things to get ready for us to make this a very, very helpful. Let's see here. Here. Okay. Make sure that's going to work. Where is this? Make sure. Oh, that's not. All right, I'll find another way to play it. All right, cool. So let's jump into this EBITDA conversation. So first and foremost, what is EBITDA? What is EBITDA? So let's get to our dictionary. Let's go. Don't want to show the example yet. All right. So let's get into it. Let's get into EBITDA. What is EBITDA, right? And this is easy to understand, right? EBITDA is a way to measure how much money a business makes from its main activities. All right, let me make sure this is bigger. All right, cool. In simple terms, EBITDA shows the profit a business earns from its regular operations without considering some extra costs like interest, money paid on loans, right? Taxes, the money paid to the government, depreciation, loss in value of things like equipment over time, amortization. Your car, break it down, like make it phonetic for me, amortization, spreading out big expenses over years. So EBITDA helps you see how well a business is doing at making money from its core activities, ignoring these extra financial factors, right? So pretty much if you take out all the other stuff, how much is the business making without all that extra fluff, all right? So let's see. Let's break it down. Let's break it down some more, right? So we're going to break it down. Let's get into an example. So how many, do we like The Wire? We like The Wire, right? So let's get into this example of The Wire, right? So we're going to take Marlo, and we're saying, right, so imagine you're running a drug operation. Allegedly, right? This is based on The Wire. You make money by selling narcotics, but you figure out how much you're really making. But to figure out how much you're really making, you need to think about several things. Sales, revenue. This is how much money you get from selling narcotics or pharmaceuticals. Cost of running the operation. This includes the money you make spending on buying raw material, paying your workers, and other day-to-day activities. EBITDA is like figuring out how much you have from your narcotics business before considering a few things like interest. If you borrowed money to start your operation, you have to pay it back regularly, right? Or them boys are going to come and get you, right? Just saying. You've seen the movies? You seen the movies? What else we got, right? So taxes. If you have to pay off the authorities of any sort of tax to keep your business running smoothly. Depreciation. If you bought equipment for processing your narcotics or pharmaceuticals, it might lose value over time. Perfect timing in your car. Amortization. All right. Having a I'm gonna do it like this, right? We're gonna do it like this, right? So.
Amortization.
All right, just that way it makes sense, right? So if you invested in a big expense like a new method of production, you'd spread that cost over several years. If you have to buy some additional houses and, whatever it is, whatever you need, right? So EBITDA stands for earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. That's a hard word. That's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 syllables. Say it ain't so. You're correct. They need to make an easier word for that one, So let's continue. So it's a way to see how much you make from your narcotics or pharmaceutical business before thinking about those extra costs. This helps you understand how profitable your core operations are without the influence of those additional financial obligations. All right. So now, does that make sense? Does that make sense? I'm getting a better understanding for EBITDA. If you take out all the extra costs, how much are you making? So we're going to do this. We are going to have I'm going to do a conversation between Marlo and whoever would be his financial advisor. You guys remember in The Wire when Marlo's lawyer wanted him to, go more into business, leave the street life, the narcotics life alone, and become a businessman. It was a bit hard for Marlo to embrace, right? But Stringer Bell was trying to embrace that, right? You guys remember? So we're gonna do this conversation, right? We're gonna do it like this. We're gonna do it like this. See if I can pull this off. Let me see if I can pull this off, right? So we're gonna try something here. We're gonna have a conversation. Okay? We're gonna be switching back and forth. So let's see. So your car says it sounds like the price of the brick is going up.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is going up, but is it because of our EBITDA? Let's find out. Let's find out if that's why the price of the brick is going up. Let's have some fun here, right? Let's have some fun. So I'm gonna try something out here. Bear with me. Hopefully it works out well. If not, at least we tried. And you know what? Let me see if I can move that over here. And we're gonna say, let's see if I can get this right. Your car said Stringer went to college to upgrade his hustle. Shut up. My heart broke when they got Stringer. My heart broke when they got him. It was so tough. It was tough. It was tough. All right. Kind of like with that robot that, how in South Korea, that robot that decided to end its own life, how they were so sad about it. That's how I felt when I saw Stringer get got, So let's do this. Let's try this out, right? We're going to go like this. And we're going to say, all right, so what we're going to do is I'm going to have a conversation with Marlo. Although it's not really going to be Marlo's voice, but I'm going to break it down to Marlo what EBITDA is. All right. So wish me the best here. Wish me the best. Hopefully I make it back. So here we go.
Hey, we need to go over the numbers from last month. How are we doing?
Sure thing, boss. Our EBITDA for the last month is $500,000.
EBITDA? What's that again?
It stands for earning before interest, taxes, depreciation, and amortization. It's a way to see how much we're making from the core business before dealing with few other costs.
Okay, break it down for me.
We made $1 million in sales last month. That's our total revenue. From that, we're subtracting our operating expenses, like what we paid for raw material, wages to our people, and other running costs. After subtracting those, we get $500,000. That's our EBITDA.
So that's $500,000 in pure profit?
Well, not exactly. It's our profit before we think about paying back any loans, any bribes, or kickbacks we might need to stay in business, and the cost of any equipment that's getting old or the big investments we've spread over time.
I get it. How does this compare to previous months?
Well, we're up by 10% compared to the month before. Our sales increased and we managed to cut some of our operating costs.
Good, good. What about our EBITDA margin?
Our EBITDA margin is 50%. This means that for every dollar we make in sales, 50 cents is converted into EBITDA.
That sounds solid. How do we stack up against our rivals? The ops. How do we stack up against our ops?
We're doing better. Their margin is about 40%, so we're ahead of the game.
Excellent. So, what should we focus on to keep this up?
We need to keep increasing our sales and controlling our costs. If we keep our core operations strong, our EBITDA will remain high. Also, investors and partners often look at EBITDA to see how well we are doing, so it's important to keep this number healthy.
Got it. Keep me updated on these numbers regularly. I want to stay ahead of the game.
Will do, boss. I'll make sure to keep you informed. All right, I'm back. I am back. All right, so hopefully this conversation between, Marlo and I helps you understand EBITDA a little bit better and the importance of evaluating the profitability of their operations. All right, so. All right, let me see what you guys. Let me see what you guys are talking about. And then I have a video about EBITDA from our good friend Warren Buffett, right? So let's see. Yakari says the robot in South Korea crashed out. Literally, right? It says, dang, is Ralph doing the ransoms? Hey, I have the moonlights. Gotta keep the lights on. Gotta keep the lights on. Bruh. And it says he does the negotiations for the ransomware attacks. Allegedly. All right. Allegedly. And it says exactly what I was thinking. And your car says, the block is hot. The block is hot. The block is hot after this conversation. Let me just give me 20 million in all $20 bills. And we gotta
Money.
And your car says Stringer knocked off the corner competition due to securing the EBITDA margins. See, now it's starting to make sense to us, right? I mean, I know you always got it, but now it's starting to make sense to me. Like, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. All right. So last thing we're going to do before we wrap it up, I want to see, is EBITDA what it's all cracked up to be? All right. So we're going to take a look at this video. And we're going to go over to let me get it the right way. All right, let's try this. All right, so this title is, according to Warren Buffett, EBITDA is useless. Let's see what this says, right?
You said you believe EBITDA is not a good parameter to value a business. Why is that?
In respect to EBITDA, depreciation is an expense, and it's the worst kind of an expense. We love to talk about float, and float is where we get the money first and we have the expense later. Depreciation is where you spend the money first, and then record the expense later. And it's reverse float, and it's not a good thing. And to have that enter into a multiple, it's much better to buy a business that has, everything else being equal, has no depreciation, because it has essentially no investment in fixed assets and makes X, than it is to buy a company that where there's a lot of depreciation in getting to X. And Actually, I may write a little bit more on that next year, just because it's such a mass delusion, and of course, it's in the interest of Wall Street enormously to focus on something called EBITDA, because it results in higher borrowing power, higher. Higher valuations and all of that sort of thing. So it's become very popular in the last 20 years.
Ah, you meant me. You can't hear me. So I was saying, I thought you meant you can't hear the video. I was saying, what do you think about what he's saying about the about EBITDA and the depreciation and stuff like that? Because like every company that I've been at, every company that I've been at, they always highlight EBITDA. But what Warren Buffett is saying is that at least the depreciation part, from what I'm getting, is like it's not a good one to include in the measurement. But just curious, what are your thoughts about it? What are your thoughts about it? Right, let's keep going.
But it's a very misleading statistic, can be used in very pernicious ways. Charlie, on either one of those subjects.
I think you've understated the horrors of the subject and the disgusting nature of the people that brought that term into the valuation of business. It would be like a leasing broker of real estate you have 1,000 square foot.
Fair use.
Suite to be leased, and he says it's got 2,000 feet in it. That's not honorable behavior. And
What did he say? Hold on. Let me hear that one more time.
that term into the valuation of business. It would be like a leasing broker of real estate you have 1,000 square foot suite to be leased, and he says it's got 2,000 feet in it. That's not honorable behavior, and that's the way that term got into common usage. Nobody in his right mind would think that depreciation is not an expense.
Yeah, but it's very much in the interest of Wall Street.
Yes, that's why they did it.
Yeah.
It made the multiple seem lower.
And what's amazing is the way it's accepted, actually. But anyway, it just illustrates how people use language, and sell concepts that work to their own use, and 2 and 20 have the same sort of thing. I mean, the number of people, the amount of money that's overperformed.
Fair use.
2 and 20 compared to the expenses that have been incurred, I can assure you, makes for a terrible indictment of that particular arrangement. But as long as it can get sold, it will get sold.
And now they use it in the business schools. Now that is horror squared. I mean,
Horror squared.
when the thieves start using a term, but when it gets so common, the business schools copy it. That's not a good result.
Okay.
All right. So I'm curious, what are your thoughts on that? So after going through the whole, what is EBITDA, which I found that very informative, but what are your thoughts about what Warren Buffett was saying about it? You know, that example, I think that was like Charlie Munger who said that. Is that his name? I'm not too familiar with Charlie Munger, but about someone trying like leasing out 1,000 square feet property, but they're marketing it as 2,000 square feet because of the EBITDA, you know? So I don't know. I have to do some more research on that to get a better understanding, but let's go to the chat. Let's see what we got going on. And So we got, so your card says, tell EBITDA to cash me outside. Cash me outside. How about that? And it says, Buffettology with Charlie is a sight a lot of rich people will miss. And it says, think he died a couple of months ago. And I'm muted, no sound. Gotcha. Your card says, your mic is muted, bruh, not the video. Hilarious. And it says, that's not honorable behavior. And so what a perfect day to go over this. Manipulating the numbers. And it says, they are saying it doesn't matter because the numbers can be manipulated so much that it becomes a false report.
Bruh.
And it says, Mitch says, every rich person has a sidekick, two-man, that you rarely see. Charlie Munger was Buffett's two-man. Kind of like you're my sidekick, right, Mitch? Kind of like you're my sidekick, right? Says, Charlie was the genius. You better read up. What? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't even know what is cinquantite? Let me see. What is a multiple of 5? Nope, not that's cinquantite. I don't know what word that would be. I don't even know where that would be. But 5 times OG Munger. I'm gonna read up. Mitch says Buffett, Munger. Gotcha. Let's see. But yeah, I'm gonna read up. You know, hey, we're here learning. We are here learning. I learned a lot today. So your card says it's a centuplet. Centuplet OG. The centuplet OG Charlie Munger. Anyways, let me know your thoughts. Any final thoughts before we wrap it up for today? I say thank you guys so much for tuning in. I appreciate all of you. But you want to know what? You want to know who I appreciate the most? Is it Mitch? Nope, it's not Mitch. Is it your car? No, it's not your car. Is it Ferris? No, it's not. It's not Ferris. Is it all the people who like the video? No, it's not them. I appreciate the most out of the entire day, that one person who disliked the video.
Congratulations, you played yourself.
It's all fun and games. I learned a lot. That I didn't know what? That I didn't know the centuplet? Is that all right? Now you're just trying to show off, Mitch. No, I did not know centuplet. All right, because I've never met a centuplet OG. You know, I've seen triple, seen double. I don't know if I've seen 4, but a centuplet. Says that dislike is definitely the same person. Hey, I love it. I absolutely love it. But on that note, we're going to get out of here. We are going to get out of here because I am about to get told that it's time to wrap it up. So, it says, if no one is hating, then you're not doing it right. Exactly, your car. Exactly. Because, you know,
We the best.
we are the best. We are. Gotta go. We gotta go. All right. So you guys know, I have a question for you. After all this, after the EBITDA breakdown and everything like that, producer price index, consumer price index, initial jobless claims, what Fed Chair Jerome Powell said, on like who else can make this type of information fun, right? I'm learning with you guys, but the question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained? Is this not why you are here?
is this not why? What? Wait, just 1 second here. My dislike just went away and it turned into a like. Well, it was fun while it lasted. But you know, we are out here winning. You guys know what it is. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is not tomorrow's price, because as we heard earlier today, and from our example, our EBITDA example, our conversation with Marlo.
One more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is going up. And on that note, you guys have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday. Do me a favor on your way out, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Go to techcoachralph.dev, sign up for a coaching plan, and we will run it up together. But on that note, we are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Spartans! What is your profession?
Money.
Thank you for your patronage.